Hey everyone, I hope you've had a great break, and I hope that you've actually taken a break from doing schoolwork. I know that I did. Today I want to talk about the human population growth. We're going to talk about different population dynamics this week in class, and then on whatever your second in-person day is we're going to talk about some case studies from different countries, such as China, Russia, Austria, India, and other places, and how they're trying to control human population growth. So if you take a look at this graph down here, you'll notice that this is the years before the present. So this is 0. This is going to be the present. And this is showing you the human population, and this is billions over here. So one of the major issues with human population growth is that it's growing at such an exponential manner. So an exponential would be that J-shaped curve. And if you look here, they call this here, what my mouse is circling, they call that the hockey stick effect, or hockey sticking, which is basically where the population is exponentially going up. So here's some factors that can affect population growth. So one way that population of a certain country can grow is through births, deaths, or migration. So we've previously discussed this formula for population change. So it's going to be births plus immigration with an I. So remember, immigration with an I is different than immigration with an E. Immigration with an E means that some people are leaving a place. So you're going to do births plus immigration minus deaths plus immigration with an E. So let's talk about birth rates and death rates. So in a specific country, they are going to measure how many people are born every day and how many people die every day. But instead of doing like a total number, demographers, which are people who study population growth, they created these two different birth and death rates to measure them. So crude birth rates, or CBR as you might see it abbreviated, it's going to be the number of live births per 1,000 people in a population in a given year. And then crude death rates is going to be the number of people that die per 1,000 in a given year. So all over the world, death rates and birth rates are decreasing, but the death rates are actually decreasing slower than the birth rates are. So you've got one slowing down and the other one kind of, keeping the same pace, that kind of thing. So here are just some statistics about population growth, or human population growth. So each time your heart beats, we've added about 2.3 more babies to the world's population, which is insane to think about. Every day we're going to share the world with 216,000 more people. And it's the equivalent of filling up a new jumbo jet with about 400 passengers every 2.7 minutes. So it's been 2 minutes and 54 seconds here, so we've added 400 more people to the Earth's population. And some of you may be asking, well, where are all these people at, or where are they being born to? Because America is actually kind of plateauing in their population growth. A lot of places such as Southeastern Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa has actually slowed down in their population growth. So it's really like India, China, and other Southeastern Asian countries. So the annual world population growth is about 1.28, and that's an exponential population growth rate. But people don't really realize that since that is exponential, it's the equivalent of adding a New York City every month. And I believe that I want to say that there's 50 million people who live there. That can't be right. Maybe 2 million, not sure. It's the equivalent of adding another Germany, the country of Germany, every year, which is crazy. So China and India are going to make up 37% of the Earth's population together. So in terms of population in the United States, we are number 3 in the world. So China is number 1, India is number 2, and then it's the United States. So China has actually been slowing down in population growth while India has been continuing to grow. So India will surpass China eventually as the number 1 most populous country on Earth. And the United States, again, is number 3 in population. All right, so this is showing you, I took this picture from a book, and this is annual world population growth rates. So if it's blue, it's less than 1%. If it's green, it's 1 to 1.9. Yellow is 2 to 2.9. And then 3 plus is going to be these red areas. And this is in 2002. So as you can see, a lot of these places have been changing over. So a lot of these places over here are now in this 3+% category, which is Southeastern Asia. All right, so let's talk about global fertility rates. So if you've taken AP Human Geography, then you probably know a ton about these different things about demography and human population growth. So replacement level fertility is basically the number of children a couple has to have to replace themselves. So it's basically two. The total fertility rate is an estimate of how many children is a woman going to have during her childbearing years. And again, childbearing years are going to be 15 to 49. These have been dropping dramatically since 1950. I don't know of a lot of women who are having babies at the age of 49 in developing countries. There are some women who are having babies at 49 in America, but not a lot. So since 1950, these rates have actually gone down dramatically. It's 1.6 in developing countries, and then it's 3.1, I'm sorry, in developed, and then 3.1 in developing countries. So these global fertility rates can really determine how fast your population is growing. So let's talk about some factors that affect the birth rates and fertility rates. So the first thing is, how important are children as a part of the labor force? So are you going to be using your children to plow the land or help you on the farm? What are you going to, do you need these children to help you out around the house? And that's really important in rural areas. Again, we've got urbanization. So people living in urban areas, they're going to have better access to family planning services. And family planning services are things like contraception, birth control, other things like that, getting women in the workplace, all kinds of stuff like that. The cost of raising and educating children as well. So if you didn't realize this, having a kid and raising it is very expensive, especially in a developed country. If you and your spouse or partner work, then both of you are not at home to take care of your child, so you're going to have to pay for childcare, you have to pay for food for the baby, you have to pay for medical care, so it's very expensive to raise a kid in America or in a developed country nowadays. Let's talk about some more educational and employment opportunities for women. So if women are working outside of the home, they're going to be more likely to have less children because, again, it's more expensive to have someone, babysit your kids. Also, if women have educational and employment opportunities, they're not going to feel like they're stuck at home and they have to watch the kids. In some Middle Eastern countries, they actually don't teach women to read or write because they think that if they teach the women to read or write, then the women are going to be more likely to leave the men. So the women who have better jobs, better education, they're less likely to have more kids. Infant mortality rate, that's going to be the number of children that die as infants. There are tons of other things that can affect the fertility rates. So average age at marriage, if you get married to someone at 40, you're probably not going to have as many kids as if you were, you're marrying them at 20. Availability of reliable birth control methods, and then religious beliefs. So some religions don't believe in using any type of birth control. So those are just some factors that can affect the birth rates. And now here's some things that are affecting the death rates. So why are there so many people? Well, more people started living longer, mainly because of these things. So we had increases in food supplies. We had better fertilizers. We had better GMOs and that kind of thing. We have better nutrition, like the GMOs, the golden rice that gave vitamin A to everyone. We have increases in medicine, sanitation. We have safer water supplies. You're less likely to die now from dysentery or, some crazy disease that you get from drinking contaminated water. So here's two indicators of overall health of people. One is life expectancy, and that's the number of years that a newborn infant can expect to live when they're born. So it has increased from 48 to 67 in more developed countries, and it actually has gone up to 65 in less developed countries. This is a figure from 2013, so I'm assuming this has gone up to like 75 now. And then there's the infant mortality rate, and that's going to be number of babies that are born who die before their first birthday. And usually that's going to give you something, to look at, like what is the level of medical care, the level of nutrition, and all that kind of stuff. So here's infant mortality rate per 1,000 live births. If you look down here, the dark green is going to be your largest number. So sub-Saharan Africa here, I believe this country is Afghanistan. And then 80 to 119, again, we've got this Southeastern Asia here. The next thing I want to talk about are these things called population age structures or population pyramids. It basically shows you what is the proportion of the population of each sex at each age level. So let me show you a picture of what I'm talking about here. These are examples of population pyramids. So population age structures, this is the population size in millions, and these are percentages here. So, you know, like, sorry, I had a package delivered from Amazon. So these are the different countries, and these are basically the population size in millions, and these are the different ages. So if you look over here, this is male, this is female, and you can tell a lot about a population from its age structure or from a population pyramid. So if you have a population pyramid that looks something like this, it kind of looks like a Christmas tree a little bit, it's wider at the bottom and narrow at the top, then that means that you're going to have a lot of people who are becoming of age and they can have more children. This is the United States. This is what they would call a stable one, where it's kind of like a general population. Everyone's kind of, there aren't really that many standout things. Germany is also going to have that stable population structure, and then China looks like it's going to have a lot of aging people in the near future. If you have a population pyramid that is the opposite of this, where it's got a ton of people at the top up here and not a lot of people down here, then that means that you're going to have what they call zero population growth, or ZPG. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to make a part 2 where I go through the demographic transition and things like that. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Look out for part 2.